What's up guys, today I will be reviewing a new low-profile cooler from BeQuiet. This is their Shadow Rock LP, the LP standing for low profile. Now generally low-profile coolers are great for small form factor builds, making them a viable solution for things like HTPCs or portable LAN rigs. Typically the trade-off here for compatibility is performance due to the cooler's smaller fin stack. So to test this correlation and see what we can expect in terms of thermal dissipation, we'll also be comparing this cooler's load temperatures to its bigger brother, the Shadow Rock Slim. But first, let's have a closer look at the hardware. With the fan mounted, the Shadow Rock LP measures 137mm wide by 161 long by just 74mm tall, making it short enough to fit in a wide variety of mini ITX cases despite having a 25mm thick fan. If you do the math, that makes the heatsink alone just 49mm tall. All of today's popular AMD and Intel sockets are supported by the Shadow Rock LP, and you do get all the mounting accessories and instructions required for installation. A generous TDP of 130 watts means plenty of cooling capacity for most overclock CPUs, although I'd still recommend double checking that you're not exceeding this crucial limit. Blowing hot air away from the heatsink is BeQuiet's very own Pure Wings 2 120mm fan, which features a rifle-bearing design for an 80,000 hour lifespan, 9 silence-optimized blades that spin at 1500 RPM, and a 4-pin PWM connector. The other half of the cooler is made up of an aluminum heatsink sporting 48 fins, with a beautiful brushed aluminum edge where we can see the ends of our 4 6mm copper heat pipes. It should be pretty evident to most of us by now that BeQuiet knows how to make an air cooler look good. Though, as a personal aesthetic preference, I really do love it when manufacturers use nickel-plated heat pipes, which look far superior to me than copper. Steampunk modders, I mean no offense. Please lower your pocket watch. The pipes make their way through the entire fin array before entering the copper base plate, which comes pre-applied with a layer of thermal paste, inconveniently adding an additional step to the installation process. Now, while a low-profile heatsink helps to solve issues with case clearance, their often wider profile can potentially cause interference with your memory. As such, you only get 30mm of RAM clearance for any modules going underneath the heatsink, so pairing this cooler with a low-profile kit is highly advisable. Since I was using DIMMs with taller heat spreaders in my testing, I actually had to rotate the cooler 90 degrees, which allowed just enough space for my 4x4 kit. Although in this orientation, the cooler still overhangs the 2 DIMM slots closest to the socket, stopping any chance of me adding an identical quad-channel kit. Another shortcoming of this rotated configuration is that the heatsink now overhangs the top PCI Express slot on my X99UD4P, which could indicate even bigger problems if you're building in a mini ITX rig with dedicated graphics. Much to my relief, installing the cooler on socket 2011 was much easier than the nightmare I had with the Shadow Rock Slim. A simple mounting bracket held in place by 2 easily accessible screws does a nice job of securing the cooler in place. While I tighten the screws with a screwdriver, you also have the option to use the included wrench, which is somewhat improved over the wrench that came with my Shadow Rock Slim. It's now thinner, features an angled tip, and has a longer reach, which is what she said. Still, the screwdriver proved to be the better tool for the job. Snapping the fan to the heatsink with the 2 metal brackets was also done with little difficulty, making for an overall quick and hassle-free installation. Now at this point, just about everything on the Shadow Rock LP looks great on paper, but it was only after firing up the testbed and seeing its performance when it earned my full respect. For a fair comparison, I removed the LP's pre-applied thermal paste and used Cooler Master's Ice Fusion compound for both coolers. Each model was tasked with cooling my 5960X overclocked to 4.3 GHz at 1.26 volts in my open-air testbed. Though I was ready for testing, I was unprepared for the results I was about to see. Though it did run 4 degrees hotter than the Shadow Rock Slim when idling, cooling performance was identical during my Prime 95 stress test. Skeptical of the numbers, I quickly moved on to Asus Realbench, where again, the vertically challenged cooler left me awestruck, matching its big brother at a max temp of 89 degrees Celsius. Considering the Shadow Rock Slim's larger fin array and 140mm fan, I was absolutely shocked with the LP's ability to maintain the same load temps. However, if sheer performance isn't the only factor you're looking for, you'll be doubly impressed to know that the LP also stayed whisper quiet under load. Here's a sound comparison between the two coolers. As you can probably tell, the Pure Wings 2 runs noticeably quieter than the 140mm Silent Wings 2 fan on the Shadow Rock Slim. Even under load in an open-air chassis, I could barely hear the faint whir of the Shadow Rock LP over the light stream of cars softly whizzing by my house. another test bearing unexpectedly welcome results. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the conclusion. Apart from its high-quality parts and contemporary flair, the ShadowRock LP does what it promises by being a cool and quiet, low-profile solution for even the most high-end of CPUs. Noise generated by the PureWings 2 is sure to be near inaudible inside of an enclosed case, and builders can expect to see more than satisfactory performance not just for a low-profile cooler, but as an air cooler in general. The only real thing I could nitpick about was the lack of slim fan support and non-nickel plated heat pipes. Two minor critiques that could easily go unnoticed. Given the results I've seen today, I'd even go so far as to say that the ShadowRock LP would be a good fit for a mid-tower case, if not for the scattered airflow from having a downward-facing fan. This cooler has the whole package, and for an attractive retail price of just $45 USD, it's a tough candidate to ignore for your next mini ITX system. Before you guys go, toss me a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and let me know what you guys think of this cooler in the comments. In closing, I want to give a special thanks to today's sponsor, lynda.com. If you guys haven't used my link for a free trial yet, check it out and start learning how to make your own website, or become so good at online marketing that you can sell pills that make your poop glitter. Wait, that's already a thing? Wow. At any rate, the website has thousands of HD tutorials that are good for your mind, body, and soul, but not your poop. You're gonna need the pills. If you're at all interested in educating yourself more better, check out lynda.com/awesomesauce for a free trial and unlock your learning achievement today.